welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message, hit the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 789 of the Trinity Force Podcast. I am your host, as always, N.A. Eric, and we have the whole crew on tonight. John's camera isn't working, and Fender is clipping in and out of his purple background, but it's all good. We're all here. So, yep, and we will be talking about preseason stuff. What the preseason's gone live in the last couple of weeks, and we've played our fair share of games and fucked around a decent amount. And so we'll talk through about what we were expecting and how it has delivered or not delivered in a lot of cases. So, yeah. But before we get into that, guys, how you doing? Bomo, we haven't talked to you in a bit. How you been, man?
I've been good. I fucked around in preseason and did find out, so that was something that happened during League of Legends. I took a little break after my competitive team played, so we came in second, unfortunately, but it was still pretty good. Out of 32 teams, we came in second place, so can't complain about that. We did win some money out of our second place winning, so not too bad. But
Did
other
you
than that, I went to
did you get enough to make your investment back?
Yeah, so the entry fee was 15 a person, and we won about 65 a person. So
Okay.
yeah, not too bad. I went to the World's Finals in San Francisco, and I watched that live. I spent a gross amount of money on tickets for the scalpers, so I am sorry, people who are boycotting Ticketmaster. I am one of those people, but I was in the third row, right on the lower floor, and I saw everything. I saw the players. I'll show you guys the videos and like clips after we record. But it was pretty cool seeing everything live and everything happening. The venue was super hype. I will say though that the Atlanta venue was so much more hype than the San Francisco venue. Maybe because like the Atlanta one was more affordable, and so all the actual diehard League fans were there. Like the stadium was like crazy, but the San Francisco one, a little bit more on the calmer side, but still a really good time.
The stadium was smaller itself too, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the total capacity, but I think it was slightly smaller, by slightly like 10,000 or something like that.
Yeah. What did those glass panes look like that they when you were actually there? Because it took me a little bit to realize that they were actually there. Those are
Yeah.
for people who didn't watch. There were glass panes, three of them, like pretty large, surrounding the
Mhm.
arena that displayed like some images when there was the opening ceremony
Mhm.
stuff. Yeah.
It almost looked like at least in live. I don't know how it looked over Twitch, but you can kind of make out what was happening. It almost seemed like a silhouette type of deal where they surrounded the stage with I don't know if it was glass or some kind of silhouette, but they did like augmented reality projections onto it, so you could see behind the actual people and what was happening. So that was pretty cool seeing that. I took a video of the Volley Bear entrance before one of the songs, so it was cool seeing like the lightning crackling through all of that stuff, and then like the music and the singing, and all like the smoke and everything. But yeah, the the scoreboard of the stadium itself moves up and down, so they were able to bring it all the way down to the bottom of the stage and then kind of hide a lot of the things before it actually started. And then the countdown happened, they slowly raised it up, and then they revealed all the different singers and the live performances and stuff. But it was pretty cool. I don't think I have much to complain about besides the price, but it was still a really good time, and I'm glad that I took the took the opportunity to go and watch it.
What was the concessions situation like?
Everything was open.
Okay.
So it was all of the food that they serve at the Warriors games. And so all the food was pretty decent, like, well, decent for stadium food. So they had a lot of like spicy chicken sandwiches, like actual like pretty good cook stuff. Um, and a lot of the food there is better than like normal average stadium food for sure. And they had a bunch of swag stores inside. So if you couldn't get a lot of merchandise, there's a bunch of pop-up merchandise stores that you could get. So I got a pretty cool world sweater. Maybe I can go grab it, but it was pretty good. A little expensive again, but I was willing to pay a decent amount just for the experience of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like one of the first person in the doors when it opened because I was waiting there from like 1 or 2 in the afternoon until it actually opened at like 3:30. So I was just waiting because I was by myself. I was by myself, so I was just waiting. And then I went in. I was like one of the first people in there, and I was just exploring the entire stadium by myself. And yeah, they gave us a little thunder sticks as well as a little wristband that lit up, so it was controlled by some like remote control light up, and the entire lower and upper bowl had like these flashing LEDs that you could wear, and then as you're cheering they like light up and stuff based on like what's happening in game or like during the actual live performance, which is pretty sick.
That
um,
is really cool. Yeah.
yeah.
So is it
Awesome.
true the reason why the delay on Twitch was because there was like a problem actually getting people into the venue? Like the doors were so tight?
Yeah, so there was only one entrance to the stadium side that I know about, and a lot of people were buying swag, but they weren't allowed to bring it into the stadium. So that caused a whole bunch of other issues where you had to go rent a locker and put your stuff in because there's a size limit for bags allowed. And then if you had a bag that you really wanted to bring in, you could go into like longer lines to go through like an airport magnetic like security scanner to check through the bag. So it's like those x-rays at airports essentially. So if you wanted to bring a bag in after bigger than a certain size, then you had to go through that, and that took a lot of time. But it was it was taking longer than usual because it did take a while to fill up. But I think partway through the actual first set of songs, it did fill up after that. And then during the Silver Scrapes, I recorded that as well, and that was pretty packed. But yeah, it did take a while for people to come in, so I was pretty glad that I was in there first and got to see everything and just like walk around for a bit.
Gotcha. I didn't even know that there was a reason for the delay. I just thought, oh, production delays there, making sure
Mhm.
everyone's online before they started. That's like, planes have those like 30-minute buffers when they board and yeah, all that
Mhm.
shit. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was shown on air, but in between the actual live games and viewings or whatever was being broadcasted, it was a quick shot in Rivington. We're trying to do like things with the crowd and hype them up. And the first time they came up, there was hardly anyone in the stands, and they're just like, it was like they're talking to like 10 other people in the stands, trying to hype us up. And it's like, yo, there's not enough people to actually be a hype, but they're just still doing their job and they're having a somewhat of a good time, I guess.
Nice. Nice, nice. Fenrir, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. Same thing as always, working and playing League whenever I can.
Living the dream. I love it. Gotcha.
Yep,
Okay.
the
How's
American dream.
how's work been for you? Did you get any of the snowstorm that we got up in Minnesota up here?
No, nope, nope.
Okay.
Keep that shit away from me.
Do you do
Nope, it's been yes, I do snow removal.
That's what I was gonna ask, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I do snow removal. No, it's been cold and windy and hell, but luckily we haven't had any snow. So
It's coming for you. It'll happen. It usually snows
Yep,
around.
it
I
will.
mean, there's usually snow around you. Oh my God, Bomo. Sorry, just the way
Oh
that
yeah.
the way that he approached the camera
Oh,
made him look like
he got the Final Fantasy 13 Worlds 2022 hoodie.
that's pretty cool. The way he approached the
That thing's
camera
Yeah,
sweet.
made it look
this was
like
the sweater.
uh-huh.
I think
They had a large. Well, the large was the smallest size they had, and so I'm a medium, so I just went and got a large because I wasn't sure if there would be a medium ever again. They said the supply would come and go, so I didn't know what time it was, and the line for the merchandise was way too long, so I'll just pick up a
a
large. but
classic marketing
This
tool.
this is what it is. It's like 2020.
But seriously though,
It's like
Yeah, that's baggy.
it's like
yeah. I mean that can be like your comfy like league shirt though.
yeah. But it is
Thing
really
looks
warm.
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It reminded me just of like a BB Max from the movie, or maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't called BB Max. Just when you approach it, you just kind of like waddled up in like a blow up
Yeah.
suit almost.
And I was about to buy an extra large too, and I'm glad I didn't go with the extra large because I probably would have been swallowed whole in an extra large.
Yeah, you could
But
fit
yeah.
like
Like a
three.
Snuggie.
You could fit like two of you in there in an extra large.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's pretty sick. And then they have like the 2022 right here on the left side, and then down the middle is like World's 2022 one and only, and then LOL Esports is just like small like black lettering here, and then they have like the World's icon on the back. That's kind of
Yeah, hard to see, but I see parts
Yeah.
of it. Yeah,
Great
nice.
modeling.
Thank you.
That thing
You
is
should
sweet, though.
you should put in your resume to Vogue.
Just we could
They should at
we
least.
could just submit this exactly. Just send.
Yeah.
I'll give you the VOD. You can send it right to them and be like, "Damn, you need to put this person in your
let
catalog."
me
Cover
model
at
some of your
GQ magazine.
merchandise.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very least, give you a like $15 rebate for the jacket. You're
Yeah,
advertising it to the world.
Or just give me this jacket for free because it's a little too big, but or give me a smaller one maybe. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yep, it is very cool. I'm partially jealous. I say partially because it's really cool, but yeah, it's I already have too many sweaters. I need to get rid of some anyway, so I don't need any more. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, work's been same. I have a interview coming up in another one middle of December. So
Is this the
got
second
that.
interviews?
No, this is just for a different place.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so I have that, and then as far as league, I mean, I played a decent bit. I mean, I'm just having fun with it. I've been playing some top. I've been playing jungle and ADC a good bit, but I've been enjoying it.
Nice. That's always good. Well, I've been good as well.
Yeah, Eric, how are you?
Yeah, thanks for asking,
I wanna
John. No
hear-
one
I wanna
ever
hear how your
asks. I mean,
experience-
no one ever needs to ask. I could talk about myself, as we all know, but yeah, no, I've been good. Today, so the last 3 days at work have been it's been a free class that our IT department's put on for teaching people like basics of R, the programming language. And I hadn't ever used it before. I write SQL all the time, but R was it's very cool, and I can already see ways in which I was going to able to use it. Like I knew that there would be cases, but I just hadn't really taught myself it. But then we got the opportunity. They're like, "Hey, we're going to put this on like department wide," and it was really cool, and it was energizing, which I haven't had that at work all that often.
Sweet.
Yeah, but work's good. Yeah, I returned to Minnesota from Georgia, where I was visiting my family for the holidays and stuff, and then I'm gonna promptly be back on a plane in 11 days to go back again. So, yep. But
Nice.
yeah, and we've had our first snowfall and freeze and stuff like that. It took me double my commute time now because for some reason people forgot how to drive in the snow, even though you live in Minnesota, so you should remember about the snow. It's kind of ridiculous. Like the first time that there was a snowfall, like a decent snowfall, on I listen to NPR when I'm driving in the morning, and the NPR like morning show host or whatever, she was saying, "Hey, like basically like saying like a public service announcement, like, yeah, we've gotten several inches of snow. Stop driving so fast." Like she said, "Stop driving so fast" into the radio because there was some crashes on some major highways, and then people were driving too fast approaching them, and then crashed into like the crash response stuff too. Oh my god, it was bad. I've seen stalled vehicles
no.
and other shit like that. Like people need to I know it's just now December because we're recording this on December 1st, but Christ, get your chains on if you need them for snow tires, or if you don't, like me, and don't have them, just, be more careful, people. Christ. But Yeah.
Just don't drive like a jackass. It's just
Yeah.
simple.
It's really fucking
It,
easy to do that.
it happens every year, and people still fucking don't know how to drive.
Yep.
They
blows
drive
my
like a
mind.
maniac to get to the location 10 seconds before then they would actually get there. It's crazy.
I love when people do
They
that on
want to
the
be Lightning
highway.
McQueen, bro. I am speed.
I love when people do that on the highway when you're driving and then it's like, ooh, someone's like right up your ass and then they go over one lane and then, like 10 miles down the road, you see, because you remember that car then you see that car that's somehow behind you again. It's like, yeah, you hitting the accelerator really like those fossil fuels were worth it, man. That was worth it. Yeah.
It's insane how bad people are at driving.
Yup.
Yeah, people are can be very selfish on the road.
Mhm.
Also,
Yeah.
I don't understand why people do stuff like that, especially when like the consequences are so like high if
Yeah.
for it going wrong, for you being there like you were saying like 10 seconds earlier or maybe not
Mhm.
even earlier.
Yeah.
100%. It's not worth it. Like driving kills so many people every year. Even if we're not talking about taxi and driving, or everyone is sober and good road weather conditions. It's nothing to fuck around with. So drive safe,
Yeah.
people. Put your seatbelts on. I had this whole conversation with my cousin because he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't have a license right now. Because he doesn't have a car, so he hasn't driven in a while. But he doesn't drive with a seatbelt, and I was like, What the fuck are you doing?" And he says that he drives more carefully because he doesn't have a seatbelt on. I'm like, okay, why don't you put your seatbelt on and still drive as carefully? It's like, no, I would drive more recklessly. I just know myself. I'm like, God damn it, Oliver.
Well, it's not even you driving, right? It's
Yeah.
literally everybody else who can like hit you.
Yeah.
And so like I had the same thing growing up. I guess it's just the generation, but my dad's generation, like no one hardly wore seatbelts at all. And so he got into the really bad habit of never wearing a seatbelt. And I would just be so passive aggressive against him in the car about him wearing a seatbelt. And then one day he got pulled over and then got a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt. And I'm just like, why don't you wear your seatbelt? And and after that, he started wearing his seatbelt. But yeah, it's just I literally every time I got in the car with him, I would tell him to put on his seatbelt. It's insane.
Yeah. My parents don't do that. My grandparents don't put theirs on, but I give my grandma a pass because she's like almost 94. So like I'm not gonna give you shit for it. She's like, I've never worn a seatbelt. Seatbelts weren't a thing. I mean, she was born in the 30s, so fine. I'm not gonna argue with you about it. But yeah, I don't know. Just wear your seatbelts, people. It makes such a big difference. Yeah, especially if you're a passenger. It's even worse if you're a passenger and you don't, because then you'll fly around the car and hurt other people, and more easily fly out of the car through the windshield too. It's wild. But anyways, that's my daily PSA, I guess. Let's talk league, gents. Preseason hit. There's been a lot of changes. I covered them all on the last pod. It was very, very titillating, is the word I'll use, because it was just me and my fantastic voice for a solid hour or so. The viewers loved it. I'm sure. I haven't looked at the feedback of it yet or the numbers, but I'm sure everyone loved it. I did.
Rave reviews.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No press is good press. That's what they say. So, yeah. I mean, Pomo, why don't you go first, man? What are your thoughts on preseason so far as it hit? Okay, sorry. So, what were you expecting it to be like before playing it?
I thought it would be like pretty tank focused, and I was actually super hyped for Rod of Ages, so I thought it would kind of slow down the game a lot and kind of go back to kind of slower paced games where you just kind of scale up and do what you need to do. But Rod of Ages is a dog shit item. I loved Rod of Ages, and now because League is so fast, it's not even. I don't even know why they brought it back. They had to do something completely different with Rod of Ages because 10 minutes to fully get a mythic is not it, Riot. Um, I played it a bunch and spammed the shit out of it. I'm like, I'm just throwing away money at this point in the game. I don't know if they'll end up changing it, but I saw a potential change of lowering the cost of it to make it more in line with like Everfrost and stuff like that. But I don't see it anymore. So I'm concerned that this is gonna be another one of those mythics that are just never built. And I think who was building it? Was it Cassiopeia in preseason or someone else is building it? But
Cassidon,
not a lot
I've
of
heard,
people
was really
building
good
it.
with it.
Who?
Cassidon, because he gets the free level.
Cassidon, yeah. but you're just like pushing yourself further behind every time. Like, would you at 2,800 gold, you get an Everfrost on Cassidon compared to 30, 31, 3,200 right now. So it's an extra 400 gold, and you don't come online for another 10 minutes. So I just don't know. Maybe it's good, but I feel like, to me personally, it feels like a dog shit item. I hate it now. It's
So
not even worth building it.
I looked. It does cost the same as Everfrost. They both
It
cost
does?
2,800. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Maybe that was the last patch that they put it in.
Maybe, yeah. I built it once, like specifically against Rod, because I was going to bring that up too. I
Mhm.
built it. I played a game of Karma mid the other day, and I built it, and then went tier into Seraphs,
Mm.
and I felt like okay, fine. I was like decently tanky because I had a bunch of health, but like shit, I felt like I couldn't really do all that much. It was
Yeah.
weird.
It's also bad too because originally, before the actual preseason drop, Seraph was supposed to be changed. I think.
Hmm.
I think the extra mana was supposed to give AP, but now it just gives CDR, and so you just don't do any damage with a Rod of Ages in a fully stacked Seraph's Embrace. It's Yeah, you have a lot of mana and somewhat good health, but you literally do zero damage to people. It's kind of insane for having two items. And so I don't know. The level up feels nice, but I don't think it should really be a mythic. I think you should just make Rod of Ages like another type of legendary item and leave it at that. The mythic is just not good at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
And do you guys? Yeah.
I was just gonna say, cut like you're saying, yeah, get rid of the mythic and cut the level and
Mhm.
make drop the cost by 300 or something like that, and it's
Yeah.
totally fine as a legendary. It's still not gonna be built all that much, but as a mythic right now, who would you even want to build it on? Like, okay, I could see Cassiopeia, but fuck, like if you're playing. I could see Cassidon building it or Rise, and that's about it.
Mhm.
Rise, I could see synergizes with this super well.
Yeah.
That's about it, though. Like, who else wants to build this?
But I feel like you can still build Everfrost and just be better. Like, I think the biggest issue is the time it takes. I wish they would add like a mechanic where you 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 level up the item every minute or every takedown. I feel like that would be a little bit more beneficial so you could stack it up quicker. If there's a mechanic to actually get to the 10 stack Rod of Ages, I feel like would be good. But right now you're constrained by the actual game time, and there's no other way you can actually change that unless you're building it sooner, which is kind of annoying. If you're just farming, then you're gonna build it like 12, 13 minutes into the game, and it's not even a mythic item until 10 minutes later. So 23 minutes into the game, you'll have your first mythic item.
Yeah, it's not great. And we could talk about this in a bit, but even further on Rod, the you need so much time to get it, and games are, in my experience, have been blowing up faster than in
Yeah.
the last season. So maybe not ending faster, but they've been descending out of laning phase into the chaos of team fight mid game a lot faster. So then that is
Yeah.
even further against Rod of Ages being an item.
I think the mid game is a lot more important now this season compared to last season. And so just having your items sooner or mythic sooner or having your power spike sooner is even more important this season than last season. Especially if you build your Rod of Ages and someone else has a Kraken Slayer, then you're it's it's so hard to compete against them if you're not fully stacked, and you'll be at like 2, 3 stacks by the time they complete their Kraken Slayer or something like that. And it's just hard to play a game when you're scaling so much and you don't provide a lot for your team if you're just trying to scale that way.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, Fenrir, what have been your what were I mean, we talked about what your thoughts were, but have your or what they thought? Oh my god, I can't even speak right now. Ugh. We we talked about some about like what you were expecting. I think on the pod a couple pods ago, but have what's been your impressions and has that lived up to what you were expecting?
To be honest with you, I don't really have any like major comments to make yet because, like you were saying earlier, the game devolves like so fast right now that it's really hard to get a gauge on what's really happening. Like right now, support's fun, but it feels kind of useless because at 15 minutes into the game, there's no longer a lane. Everybody's just aim ramming and team fighting. So it's kind of hard to get a feel for what supports are pretty good in lane, which is what I'm looking for. They didn't really change support that much. So
Does it also feel to you that the only thing keeping laning phase going is the plates? So if there weren't plates, laning phase would end at 10 minutes, even shorter sometimes. Bomo, you're nodding your
yeah,
head.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
The at least in mid lane, experienced this. Like, the it feels like the turret plates are slightly weaker. Usually you get like that stacking armor and MR bonus right from turrets after you take a turret plate and whatnot, but it seems like that's not as effective anymore. If your jungler takes Herald or the enemy jungler takes Herald and kills the mid laner, I feel like they can just completely take that turret around like 10 to 13 minutes. It's like completely gone. And I think that's maybe another reason why it accelerates the pace of the game itself and gets laning phase out. But something about the turrets themselves don't feel as durable, or the damage maybe on champion just feels higher, which is doing more to the turrets.
It's definitely not that they're objectively not weaker. They made them tankier.
Yeah, they have more MR and armor.
Yeah, they increased
Per
so
plate.
they're actually tankier now. So it's not that. So maybe then it does feel like there's more damage in the characters then.
Yeah, I think there are also a lot of characters that are good at like just hitting turrets and killing turrets. I don't know. I think personally, like jungling, I think dragons are important now. I mean, there's some really good dragons. The Chemtep Drake is really good. But I, if I could like choose between the two, I prefer to get first Herald because, like Boma was saying, I can. I mean, you not only are you getting like more so like control in the top and bot side through mid of the enemy jungle. That way, I mean, you're getting a huge gold influx into yourself, and then hopefully your mid laner as well. Um, and then I mean that just makes the game really hard. I've been liking to try to gank top, get my top. Like if it's like a split pushing, like I feel like split pushing stuff is pretty good top right now. Like Fiora's, Trinity, Trundle, stuff like that. If I can get them splitting, then we can get that. We or they can get that turret by themselves. We can get Herald and use it mid. Then they're both going to be just so far ahead, and then we can just focus bot lane the rest of the game. That I've been having a good bit of success with that strategy, but I mean, I don't have like it's still like pretty anecdotal. Like I've played some, but not like enough for uh that to say that's like a definite thing. That just like feels good to me right now doing that. But I mean, also stacking just drakes if I can't get a herald, I'm totally okay with. Because if you can get the hex tech, the mountain drakes, or the I mean, I think really like cloud is pretty decent on a lot of people too. I think, like I really don't. I just think getting the drags and getting your bot lane ahead if you can't make that play is super important right now. Because that's what I've been doing when I've been playing Rengar. I've been liking the I've tried all the items, jungle items. I think the green one is super good. I mean, for several reasons. I mean, it's just nice for the clear once you have it. It's nice for skirmishing. You don't have to think about it at all, to get max value out of it. I mean, definitely on Rengar specifically, I would think you just go blue 100% of the time because of the move speed it gives you and like how that interacts with your jump. Once you're getting like the max bonus from the move speed from the item, you can jump from that back bush into the like the hit baron. So that's pretty huge. But I don't know. I think that you just have to know how to use it, right? With the in the bushes, you get the speed, and then when you kill a large monster or an epic monster, you get the speed. You just have to be cognizant around and play around it to get value out of it, because if you're using it, you can get around the map really quickly, like that too. I've found, just for like making sure that you're there with the first move before the enemy jungler. Like, it's super good mid to late. The only thing I don't like is how late the item upgrades. It feels like it takes forever to get, like, not the chilling smite effect, but the like pet effect
Yeah, agreed.
takes
It
a
takes
long time.
so long. The fastest I saw, I haven't played as much as you, but the fastest I've seen was like 16 minutes or so, and normally it's taking me 20 to 24, 25 minutes to get it.
Yeah, that's a long time not to have anything from your
Mhm.
at least the pet, you know. But
Have you
I mean,
guys seen
good.
the mid jungle strategy where you both take smite?
I've seen that funneling.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I saw a tweet about
Mhm.
Riot looking into it because funneling is more popular again.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw like someone did like a video of it and tried it.
So
Yeah, so apparently that's also a quick way to power up because it's like based on like the number of camps and stuff. So it's really weird because it's a you both take smite. The jungle just does his regular jungle thing, and the mid laner takes his regular starting item. But as soon as the mid lane backs, you buy the one of the jungle items, and then you undo it, and then the game thinks that you've bought in the jungle item, so it starts a timer of
Yeah,
being
for the
able to collect
treats.
jungle
Yeah.
camps for the treats. Yeah, and so you just in lane farming, and then as soon as 14 or 15 minutes goes by, when the actual reduced bounty goes away, then you can just swap places. The jungle goes mid, and the mid goes to the jungle, and farms all those camps, and you're able to clear all those bounties and get a bunch of gold from camps. But I think that also has to do with just the jungle items taking so long to power up. It's like 40 stacks, right? That's the
it's
jungle
40,
item.
yeah. I think they should
Yeah.
reduce it instead of 2040, do like 1530 is what I would say they
Hmm.
should do.
Yeah, it's because like there's only what 6 camps on your side theoretically, and 2 of them don't even spawn like on like a short timer. And so it's pretty tough. Maybe make it. I don't want to reward ganking, but I feel like you can also apply it to killing champions or takedowns. I feel like they have to do more things with takedowns for specific items and quests. I don't know if it's such a good idea to just like kill 40 camps to get your smite fully upgraded. It's like, well, there has to be better ways to get your fully upgraded smite and pet.
Yeah, maybe do something like that. I didn't even think about that, but what's coming to mind now is if you get a kill, it's worth 2 as opposed to 1, which a normal takedown would be. If you kill a legendary monster, it would be worth 3, and then a buff would be worth 2, or something like that. That would be a good way to balance. I mean, maybe they could even do something like if you take a turret, it counts as 1 as well, if you participate in a turret kill.
Yeah, scale it for specific objectives, and just make it so the jungle is supposed to impact the map, right? And so if you're able to help other lanes with specific objectives, I feel like you should get rewarded for that instead of having to feel like you need to go back in the jungle and hide in the jungle so you can get your pet up to a certain stack level.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that you should get at least 2 treats for a champion takedown. I feel like that makes a lot more sense, just like intuitively to me. But yeah, or have because currently you get 1 bonus treat every 60 seconds. Like before you had like the final form of it.
they
So maybe have it so it like that's accelerated, I guess. Or like make it like 2 or like 1.5 or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't have a like. I get that what you're thinking of. I don't have a problem with only 1, but I do think that it should be. They should all cash in the next time you take a camp because it only takes 1 stack off of that thing. But instead, if it
Yeah.
cashed in all of them, then that makes sense because if you're like a lot of games I've been playing, I've been losing or my team is losing around me, then at that point, if you're not able to get takedowns or camps, you're just sitting there and you're useless. Like, I understand that that's the way the game is if you're not getting gold, but then it's like, oh, I'm able to get one camp. Okay, if I can do that every minute, then maybe I'll get there. But then at some point, I'm sitting there with like 4 or 5 of those treats, and that means I haven't taken a camp in 4 or 5 minutes, because I just can't. So it doesn't reward at all, proper macro play and like seeding your jungle to lower your deaths and making sure that your team is able to defend sieges and stuff like that and not recklessly fighting. Because okay, sure, if I throw myself in, we might get a kill. That would give me another stack of it, but then we might lose an inhib off of it. So there needs to be a balance there, I think.
Or even make it so you get two treats consumed if you smite the person you kill or something like that. Because like it feels kind of bad when your team is behind and you can't even go for an objective steal because your smite is what,
Weaker.
900,
Yeah,
and
it's
then they have
900.
1250, and it's not even like a game at that point where you can actually pull the odds back in your favor. It's a perma lose situation with the way that that's set up, and especially do the jungle treats also get consumed if you're counter jungling the enemy and you're able to kill their camps, or is it just your own camps?
No, they do if you counter jungle a camp.
Mhm. So if you're a jungle who's falling behind, there's no way to really claw back into the game if they're taking your entire jungle and you can't get any takedowns and whatnot. You're pretty much just stuck there farming 1 or 2 camps, and the enemy already has a fully upgraded smite, and you still have 20 to go type
Don't
of situation.
don't you still, though, even if you get them off of counter jungling and while your team is defending, like you go and take some camps, don't you still only get, though, like a 20% reduced XP, or does that wear off? I don't remember.
For the counter jungling?
Yeah, because so like early on in the game, I know for sure, if you
Mhm.
take one of your camps, you get 20% bonus XP. Basically, it means that if you take your opponent's camps, you're not getting 20% bonus XP, so it's a XP
Yeah.
reduction.
I think that's the entire game.
I'm
Thought it
not
just
sure.
But
took
like,
longer to take
yeah.
other camps.
No, I don't
But
think
if
they're
you're getting
tankier.
counter jungled,
No, you do less damage to enemy camps.
I'm looking now to see
Yeah,
exactly what
you
it
do less
is.
to enemy camps, and you do not like the current iteration
It's not. It's not.
on
It's
your
not
own
XP
side.
differences. It's just damage differences.
Oh, is it? Okay.
You do 20% more damage from non-true damage sources on your own side,
Okay.
and that is taken away when you invade. So that's what that 20% is. It gets taken away. So it's So therefore, it takes longer to do an enemy camp of the same level.
Right.
So I have a question for Eric and John.
What's up?
So
Do you feel like you guys are fighting more than farming, that more than you usually would?
Yes, 100%.
yeah,
Okay. Would you argue that if you made the game the way it was 4 weeks ago with the current iteration of jungle, would the way you level feel good with like the smite and everything?
Wait, can you repeat that again?
So take the way the jungle plays right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got that?
Yep.
And move it to 4 weeks ago before the season changed. How the game was a little bit slower
Mm-hmm.
early, and you kind of methodically made your way and pushed to like end of the mid game. If the jungle was in that scenario, do you think it would feel good the way the smite upgrades?
I think it'd feel better because it was slower and it would allow you to tactically take your camps. But now, since everything's faster, you have
So
less of
that's
a
why I don't want to
choice.
see
Yeah.
the items changed yet, is because I think the game will slow. The game naturally slows down as preseason goes. So I think they should wait a little longer before they change how the smite like upgrades.
Yeah, and I don't even know if the data support what we're saying. So we could be just seeing the
I
other
have
end of
no
the
clue. I haven't
spectrum.
played any jungle, and I truly don't really understand how it works.
but they also did
I
make
just
the camps a lot tankier too compared to the
yeah.
last season.
In
So
general, yeah.
it takes longer to almost clear camps because there's more effective health that you have to get through. I know the pet
Yeah, but
sort
you
of
do bonus
helps.
damage.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh yeah,
But I
there's
think
that.
it
Yeah.
takes. I guess it's the whole argument with the counter jungling again, where it almost seems like it's not worth counter jungling just due to the nature of the. I think if you kill the big minion or the big camp on the enemy side, after a certain time, I don't know what it is, like 20 seconds, then it automatically kills the entire camp. So where before you could just leave a single small camp, small monster up in the camp, and they have to come and physically clear it to reset the timer. But now it's so fast paced just because of that nature where counter jungling gets you minimally ahead while ganking is a lot better because you can stack treats and kind of sort of cash out with the specific ganks. I think maybe that's why it feels so fast paced and hard to even just get your upgraded smite. But maybe if it does slow down, but it's kind of hard to see it slowing down with the way that these jungle changes were made. Almost with the gank heavy junglers don't really lose out that much because the camps are gonna respawn. They come back stronger, so you get more experience because you get catch up experience essentially. Um, but we'll have to actually see though. But I can't. It's hard for me to imagine that the game's gonna slow down just based on the current iteration of the jungle.
Yeah, when I've played farming junglers, they feel a lot like playing. I've played a decent amount of Kane so far in preseason because lots of people are playing tanks, so red Kane should be so much better. And once you're able to get an item and a half, it definitely is. But he feels weaker he feels weaker than he did before at the beginning of the game, and that weakness lasts for longer, in my opinion, than it did before. It could be that I've not been playing it right or not been playing it all that well. That's definitely possible, but um, yeah, and then even when you play champions that aren't designed to be junglers, but now since the jungle is healthy enough for you to play other things, like I've played Silas jungle and I was totally healthy enough. It didn't clear that fast, but it was totally healthy. I played some more Kiana jungle, which they don't want her to really be a jungle, but it still works and it works a lot better now actually. That one feels a lot better, but I've seen in like I'm part of the Jarvan mains subreddit where people are saying like no one's really sure if he's actually any good. So that kind of shows you that he's not any. And before it was very clear about he's good at specific things, not good at other things. But the builds are all over the place. The pets are all over the place. It just feels like it's for a lot of these champions, it's kind of the Wild West. And some of them are just like, yeah, they're objectively way better than they were before because of Ravenous Hydra being overpowered, which is getting nerfed again next patch for 2 patches in a row, or other things coming through. Like, it's just, I don't know. I like the ideas with some of this. I didn't think I'd like the pets, but as I've played with it, I don't mind it all that much. What I do mind is, well, A, the smites being nigh identical. Don't love that. But B, the pace of it, like we're saying, like it just it's too fast for people to want to play farming junglers. It's too fast.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys. I played a lot of well, I played a good amount of Elise in the previous seasons, and I picked her up a little bit again when I was jungling, and she actually feels really good now. So Elise is a super heavy early game gank focused champion. After you hit level 3, you can do a lot to influence the lane, and usually you'd have to sacrifice a lot looking for ganks. If it didn't pan out, then you fall behind. But she feels really strong right now because you don't really fall behind that much or even at all. You go for a gank, maybe you blow a flash, and just go back to your jungle, and you stacked up your treats. You can clear all that side, and the pet is really valuable with clearing AOE camps. So a lot of single target champions who were looking to clear had a rough time and would skip like chickens and krugs because it was so slow. But now with the pet, they just mow down those little monsters so quickly, and so I think that's also the a benefit for having like these super high tempo gank heavy junglers is because you have the pet to just clean up the camps for you. And then with the later Scuttle spawn, I think every champion's able to full clear the jungle even before Scuttle spawns, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I've not been able to not clear fully, except if I've been invaded. And I'm looking at stats right now, and the top junglers are Mordekaiser, who already cleared fast and was a behemoth early, and is now he has a 56. I'm looking at all ranks just to see 56.6. So, but he's getting a nerf next patch. I don't think it's big enough, but whatever. Um, Trundle is at a 54. Shyvana's at a 54. Mundo's almost 54. Wukong's 53. So all of them, none of them have. Okay, Shyvana has AOE, kind of. It's conditional on a couple of her abilities, but Trundle doesn't at all. Mundo kind of does. Wukong doesn't hardly at all. Nocturne's on here. Vi's on here. Lilia's on here. Warwick is right there. None of these champions have a shitload of AoE other than Lilia and Mordekaiser, really, and they're still powering through with high win rates. And there's um, so that's not great when you're seeing like Fiddlesticks down at a 51 and a Mumu down much lower at like 48. We're incorporating all ranks here, and the majority of games are played in elos where a Mumu is a good jungler. So it feels like, yeah, like you're saying, the single target camps are single target damage dealers are that much more benefited relative to the AoE and faster, clearer junglers. They just overall got a nerf because everyone else got better around them. But we'll see how everything plays out. I'm still banning Graves every game. Although
I think
he has a 48% win rate, which makes me happy.
Yeah.
What were you going to
Yeah,
say,
I
John?
played a little great, but I guess to the point of Femir was saying, I think that if the smite was higher, like at Worlds, I think that I like the smite being higher, definitely. I think that's been nice for sure. I think, but the upgrade coming very late feels not so good. I mean, as far as like, I don't know. I think Rengar feels really good. Like his, I mean, you can still do a Scuttle spawns at 330 now. So, I mean, more oftentimes than not, I'm finding that I'm just full clearing if I'm not invading, and then I'm ganking either top or bot, depending on where I'm pathing. And then, I mean, depending on how that goes, like if after that, Scuttle is pretty free. And if the enemy jungler's there and they, if they fight, and I feel like we're gonna win the 2v2 or the 3v3, or I have Brio. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I like skirmishing. That's like one of my favorite things in the game, and I think skirmishing feels really good right now. And I think that I was like initially not so like a big fan of the like leashing change and like I guess how the damage works with the jungle pet, but like I mean it's made it so easy. I find that I'm like never looking at my champ while I'm doing a jungle camp anymore, which is nice. Because I mean
Is
that
it?
I feel like I'm just seeing because then I'm seeing just so much more opportunities. I feel like
Okay, sure. Like I get what you're saying that it's nice, but is that healthy?
I mean
Riot
I
is
think it
walking a very
depends.
fine line.
I think it depends. I mean stuff like I don't know. I mean it's not like I'm never, but I mean I'm doing it way less than I was before because I'll just do it in between autos or like while I have no ability cooldowns. Like it's really like and then especially like to your point of like champs that benefit from it. Like I've played like one of the first junglers I played was Warwick, and I played a good bit of Warwick actually. He feels really good. I mean, he can do Raptors early now, and it's not too bad. He can do Krugs early, not too bad. So, I mean, he skirmish. He's really good in a 2v2. I mean, you can surprise the enemy with some of his mechanics, even though people just say he's very like simple. I mean, you can outplay people so hard with him, with your E flash, or you're following their flash with your Q, or any of their movement. And if you get ahead on him, it just feels like you were saying, the game pace. If you get ahead on him early like that, it is so oppressive for the enemy jungler because he just annihilates them in a 1v1 after that, or really just before that. He's really good in 1v1 situation. And then I guess to your point about like counter jungling Bomo, the I guess I found that like I'm not counter jungling early as much, like, and I'm not vertical jungling as much, like where we're just trading sides. But once you have an item or two, I find that it really doesn't matter anymore because you're just annihilating camps at that point anyway. So it's like, and then I guess in a lot of those situations, I just feel like for me, like if I'm counter jungling, like I'm not worried about them really coming over and like contesting me, like I'm like, I know they're somewhere else. I'm just taking everything and leaving. But yeah, I guess the one thing I don't like is that the camp dies no matter what, the respawner, because it makes it way less punishing in terms of like punishing the enemy. Like counter jungling is less punishing in that sense because even if you get counter jungled, your camp's gonna respawn at a higher level no matter what, even for that mistake now. So it's like it also makes it so that I feel like counter jungling has less value in terms of, am I gonna counter jungle or am I gonna contest this play? I would always contest the play because I think that has way more
I think it has
value
more
than
value.
like a single camp. So yeah, I just feel like fighting and like scrapping is so good right now. Like I played uh, Echo a good bit. I think he benefits from that too because the Krugs are way easier to do now.
So
Like
much
he can
easier
full
for him,
clear.
yeah.
He can full clear now. He can, and like, I mean, if I don't think much changes with him other than like, I mean, if you hit your stun and you counter gank with him, get a good counter gank with him, you're gonna get snowball so hard. He feels really good. I've actually played him a decent bit. And then Udyr, I mean, I've tried
You're
some of
doing
the
the old Prowler's Claw build?
oh my gosh, yeah, I've been doing Prowler's Claw into Bork into Frozen Heart / just whatever defensive item. It's it's not okay.
It's not okay at
They
all.
are probably gonna change that. I would be really surprised if they don't.
I played against it and got, when I say instantly deleted, I don't mean, 1 second. I mean a quarter of a second. I got absolutely murdered when I still had 3 items as a red cane. So I was not squishy. And one of those, I didn't have, I had armor boots, but I didn't have any other resistances, but I had a lot of health. And I would still get like a quarter of a second, just absolutely murdered when he was even on level parity and only had one more item than me. It was absurd. I mean, eh, ugh.
I've played it where I've had Prowler's Claw and Bork. It's like 20 minutes in the game, and I have Hail of Blades up in my Empowered Q, and I actually just like one hit a Shen from full HP with the Hail of Blades Q proc, like Empowered Q proc. Like it does so, like with Prowlers, it does an absurd amount of damage. Like the burst is just so disgusting. It
Yeah,
just feels like there's not very much counterplay to it. I think
there
Prowler's
is
Claw just
none.
feels like there's the range of it feels insane.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't have any counterplay, like you're saying. If you let him get into what 450 range, you
Yeah,
die. That's
if
it.
he has his Q and he has Prowler's Claw, you're dead. If he's close enough to you, you're dead.
Yep. And it's hard
But
for you to stay that far away from Udyr given his speed and his base move speed being at 350. It's the fastest in the game.
yeah, and he just has Ghost. He can just pop Ghost.
Yep.
But yeah, also Hecarim I think feels insanely good. I've been trying. I'll go like Manamune, Ravenous Hydra, and then what mythic do I get?
Eclipse.
Yeah, Eclipse. Yep. I mean, it feels really good. And then yeah, Shojin. Chojin feels really good on him.
Yeah, he's sitting at a 49.99% win rate, so he's exactly balanced according to the game. But he also has a 12% pick rate, so we'll see. Like, who really knows if he's
Yeah.
actually banned there?
I
I'm so,
played some Wukong too. I think Wukong does feel really good. Ravenous feels insane on him with his ult. Like, he just gets so many procs of it. If he has Black Cleaver and Ravenous, he gets his ult feels like it does a good bit of damage now. I think that Ravenous definitely needs to be tuned down because every time I build it, it feels absolutely insane.
the AD
It
is
makes your
going
clear so
down,
good.
and they're removing the Omnivamp, so they're making it significantly worse. But the AD needs to go down
That's good.
further.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's because I mean, like you were saying, like when you're super ahead though, like and you're making it so like the enemy jungler can't like stack his item too, like that feels so bad because then they're like behind. I mean, their smite does like 900 and yours just does 1200. So I mean, that does feel. I feel like that doesn't happen too often though.
It's happened in a lot of games for me where my lanes fall apart and then that happens. I mean, granted, I've been playing with different groups of people or just found the matchmaking has been a bit suspect lately. I've played against I played a game where there was two grandmasters on the other team and some other diamonds, and it was just a full plat lobby on our side.
What?
It was fucked up. Yeah.
That's insane.
It was flex, so I get that there's some variance there, but we were a 5 stack and it was a full plat lobby, and then we got matched with Diamond Master Grandmaster people. It
Yeah, I
was
remember that.
fucked up.
Yeah, there was one game where we were playing. I think you were playing with us too. It was with Endeavorite, and he was just like just acting so chill as normal. But then he's like, "Yeah, the enemy top laner's Grandmaster," and
Yep.
I was just like, "Oh no."
Yeah. Yep, that happened for sure. Yeah. And like, oh man, a lot of my favorite junglers don't have great stats right now. Although
Go back to your Eve. Eve feels really good.
yeah, I should start playing her again. But the thing is, like, I
Kha'Zix.
don't want to just. Kha'Zix is. I like playing him, and he's actually about the same stats as he's always is. Like, a good Kha'Zix is just gonna do well. I just don't think,
Yeah.
like, I've seen them. I've tried building Ravenous first or second, and it doesn't feel amazing to me on him. But it feels like.
I wouldn't build it first thing unless you're very ahead on him.
Yeah, but the thing is, you build it and get ahead, or you sink yourself. So it's very, it's like building Medjai's first on a AP jungler, I guess. Just more expensive.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yep.
I don't know. I think the like Vi feels really good too. I've played some Vi. I think she feels insane. I think like the changes to Krugs.
You know what non-jungler is statistically better than Graves with a 6% pick rate too, mind you. Silas.
Really? Graves?
He's higher win rate than Graves. I mean, Graves has a 11.5% pick rate. Silas is almost 6. Silas has a slightly higher win rate. They're both in like high 48s, but yeah, Silas has a 48 and almost 49% win rate right now, and he wasn't in the jungle before this patch.
Maybe my dream's coming true. Maybe I need to try that.
It's not that bad. I played it. Like it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so fun. I mean, I haven't played him very much, but he's been a champ that I've like wanted to try.
Yeah.
But I just can never like I didn't really play mid too much anymore. Or like when I did play mid, I wasn't gonna play Silas.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really good at skirmishing too. I mean, I think that's one reason he's pretty good.
I think
able to jungle more.
a lot of these champions I'm looking at, I mean, almost everyone has in U.GG their recommended counters are Mordekaiser, which doesn't surprise me because of how strong Mord is. He's got a 56% win rate, but
yeah,
once he gets nerfed down some, a lot of these champions are going to rise up more. Like because I look at like Camille Jungle's on here and isn't doing very well. Like Talon, Zed, and Mumu, all of them like Mord is their number one counter, and they're having and Mord is all over the place, and they have bad win rates because of it. Same thing with like Nidalee and Karthus and Shaco, and Graves apparently doesn't do well into Mordekaiser either. I don't know why Kiana's so low, actually. I don't get it. I mean, she's hard to play, but fuck, she clears
I think
so much healthier now.
Warwick's good into Mordekaiser, I feel like.
Is he? Let's see. Mordekaiser. There are only 5 champions that have positive win rates against Warwick.
I think Master Yi might be good against him too.
Master Yi has a 53.4% against him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Master Yi's pretty good.
It's him, Elise, Warwick, Lilia, and Echo is at dead 50, so it counts it, but not really. Then no one else, which is wild. But we've talked enough about the jungle. What do we think about some of the tank items that have come through? Bomo, you had a note on our thing that you thought that Heartsteel was overrated. Do you want to tell us why?
I think everyone thinks it's so strong, and I don't think so. Just everyone thinks it's super overpowered, does a lot of damage while being super tanky, but it's expensive as shit to build. Maybe it feels strong because of the accelerated mid game where everyone's fighting all the time and you can proc it a whole bunch on champions, but a lot of the champions who build it are super kiteable. And I've been playing a lot of like Bork champions too. So I've been building Bork, and that feels pretty good against a lot of them. I haven't tried it yet, but I was theory crafting a mid Ezreal build that goes like Bork, Manamune, and I was thinking about Frostfire, but I feel like there's other Spellblade items that I can take instead of a Frostfire Gauntlet, so I was gonna play around with that just to see, but they just if you're walking up to them, the bonk is satisfying, but it's gonna do a lot of damage. But if you can just kite away from them, there's nothing they can really do. And it's just pretty much a big health stick. You literally get no other stats from Heartsteel, but maybe it's just the small community that I hear and see complaining about Heartsteel, but I don't even think it's that big of a deal. I will say it is a very fun item to build. I was playing it a lot on like different champions, and I was playing it on Diana and whatnot, and so it is pretty cool, but it's it's a not good of an item at all, I don't think.
I think that it just really is like situational, like
Mhm.
you were saying. Like if it's someone, so like I think when I think of this, I think it's really good on Shin because he can already takes grasp and can proc it reliably, can get a lot of benefit from it and scale. He can just do what he's gonna do better, and then not only that, he can build Titanic Hydra where he's gonna get even more value from that HP. And I mean, just being that tanky as Shen and doing that much like damage, like the damage he can do with his empowered Q, like with his ult, like just the pressure he can have. I think he is super good right now with that item, but I don't think that it is good on everyone. Like you were saying, I don't think it's like insanely OP unless you're like really good at stacking it and are a champion that can stack it both reliably and like consistently. Like, I mean, it's just troll to go on like like fighter champs, you know. Like you should not do like unless it's maybe like I mean, I've been seeing people going on Sep, but like I don't know. I mean, I don't know. He could just do the same thing, really. I mean, he could just do Heartsteel into Titanic Hydra. I mean, I've seen that a good bit, but I think Set's just good because fighting, skirmishing is good.
He's also really good at using all the items that are good right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Oh, so the last thing I will say is Mundo feels absolutely disgusting in the jungle. Like, if you do his clear properly, you can do like 250.
A full clear or 5 camp?
Full clear at 250.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
The first time
wild.
I did it. Yeah, the first time I did it, I didn't even do it properly, and I did it in full cleared in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I played Mundo Jungle, and I'm just like sitting there waiting for Scuttle to spawn because I killed all my camps. I'm just like, what do
It's
I even
insane.
do? it's
I
I
played
like
a game.
ran over the map with him, but yeah, he is very strong right now.
Yeah, I played a game where I just full cleared, went straight into the enemy jungler's jungle. He's just doing his Gromp. I'm level 4. I just ghost at him. Got his Gromp, killed him, and then you go Radiant Virtue, which then you're like, I mean, you do a decent bit of damage mid to late game on Mundo, and it's like then you're just like this tank that deals a good bit of damage, heals a ton, and then just heals on your entire team, and gives your team ability haste as well, because they like hot fixed that item and made it so it gives you more. I think it was like 15 to 20 ability haste. 20 ability haste is a lot. I mean, in a fight, and it's within like 1,200 units, so it's so easy to get a lot of value out of it if you're just team fighting a lot. And it's really easy on Mundo because you just push R, push Ghost, and you just run up them, and you're getting max value out of it, you know? So
Yeah.
that item feels so good. And
I-
his, like, you can just go be so high tempo with him, which is crazy because it's like you're full clearing faster than anybody. And I don't understand why because I will say his AoE is actually a little better, I think, uh, than it like might appear, because he can, if you E the small jungle, you can hit all the like monsters with the AoE camps. With the cleaver, you can hit at least 2 monsters at a time, and it does a lot.
But you
Like,
also
he does a
don't need
lot.
to do AP. You don't need to do AoE damage like we were talking about earlier. You can just
Yeah,
hit
but
them.
he has his W though too, so it's like it's even
It
better.
just
Like,
accelerates it. It's kind of crazy.
yeah, it is so good. Like, his Raptors clear is insanely good.
Yeah, you throw your cleaver at the small one, and then you walk up, you auto, and like you E it, and it goes through all the other
Yep.
minions, and then
Yep.
they take a bunch of damage, and you use your W, and it's like dead at that moment.
Yep. And
But
then you
yeah,
can just throw another cleaver at the red and start doing the red. It is
yeah,
actually that is the best clear of anybody that I've played so far in the jungle, and I wasn't even doing the kiting or mechanics of it properly. I was like just astonished. It felt so good. And I didn't even feel like I played the game particularly well. Like, I've played it probably 5 times. I had a few good games, a few bad, but like I think I won like 4 out of 5 of the games I played of him. I mean, it's just he feels like inevitable, kind of.
So I have a just to change the topic a little bit back to Heartsteel because I was theory crafting while you guys were talking. Because Heartsteel doesn't have any differences for range versus melee. You get the same benefits and do the same damage. Um, I played a game of it was ARAM, but I played on ARAM. I went Renata with Grasp and Heartsteel and stuff, and it was hilarious. But um, anyways, it was really funny. I had like 4,000 health at 3 items. It was fucking stupid. Um, but I was trying to think in Summoner's Rift, are there any? I don't think there's any ranged champions that have max health scalings at all. But who would be good to possibly build it? If anyone, I think Kog'Maw could be a Heartsteel user. That's the only one I could really think that would make. I mean, him, maybe Vayne, if you want to go like Bruiser Vayne. But if you go Kog'Maw with Rageblade Bork first, and then you go Heartsteel third, because Riot did say they don't plan on some of these tank mythics being first item purchases like mythics are supposed to be. They're meant to be more second and third sometimes. So if you're playing some of these other champions, you can absolutely just wait and uh, pick up Heartsteel a little bit later after you've hit some of your stuff. I mean, granted, you don't have it stacked as hard, but you're still going to get all the benefits of it. I mean, am I thinking too out of the box here? No.
I think.
I-
So who are you saying?
I said
Build on who?
Kog'Maw would be, I think, good. You
I
go.
think that wouldn't be like out of the like that wouldn't be crazy. I mean, because he already goes. His build is already so cheap anyway, and he can just go like Goonzus, Runans, or Bork. Yeah, Bork is really good right now. And then
I think
you can
he's
just
just
go
better with Jack
Titanic.
Show though.
Is he a Jack Show user? Okay.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you were wanting to do a tank mythic, you would Just do Blade of the Ruined King, Hydra, Hydra, and then Rune and Hurricane, and then whatever else damage item. Then you finish with a Jack Show. Because right now, Cogmine doesn't build a mythic.
What about
I
Pike
feel like
building
last
it?
sec.
To get the AD that
Yeah.
gets converted. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it could be good. I was thinking Graves can build it probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hydra
Christ.
into like Heartsteel, and then his grit stacking up. You're just like unkillable, and
Yeah,
you're
he's-
just.
I'm editing this part out of the podcast so people don't hear about this shit.
Gonna give Eric nightmares.
Oh my god, no. Oh. Why? Why did I start this?
I'm gonna play that against you.
I'd say like yeah, I don't know. It sounds really interesting.
It sounds kind of funny.
It does.
I haven't played him a lot or at all this preseason, but I wanted to try Heartsteel Swain into Demonic and see how that feels, because you can just pressure ult, but maybe the Radiant Virtue might be better because you get the extra effective health just as soon as you pop ult, which makes you
Yeah,
even
and the ability
tankier.
haste.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
even think
maybe
about
the
that.
Radiant Virtue, but yeah, I was thinking Heartsteel
Jack
and
Show
Swain.
is
I
still
just hadn't
better
had
too.
time. Jack Show, yeah. I think Jack Show in general is just really good right now. I've been playing a lot of Jack Show, like Diana and
Yeah.
Irelia, and it feels pretty good.
Like
But
just
I
any
think it's
champion.
because everyone has health, so.
I've not played with
If you
that
want to
item
build
very much.
Heartsteel, just build Jack Show. Is basically
Yeah,
Yeah,
just do that
it's-
it should
instead.
be right now.
It's kind of
You'll be
similar where
set.
they get like quote unquote tankier, but I think with the Jack Show, it's pretty much just a life drain, and then you get like MR and armor. I think it doesn't give you health, and so I think depending on how I want to play like demonic or Titanic type builds, I think Heartsteel might be better for those specific items. But I think in general, just Jack Show does feel pretty good right now.
But if you're gonna build Jack Show, don't you need to be incorporating other resistances? Because Jack Show doesn't give you flat resistances, to my knowledge. It gives you % increase.
I think it's
No, it's
I think it's
They get-
flat.
You're
Yeah.
basically
Stacks.
getting 60-60 at full stacks. Just from the item itself. Is what the math
Okay, so
equates
yeah,
to.
it has that in
So,
it, but
realistically, like if you're gonna buy a Jack Show, you don't need to buy another
Mm.
resistance item. You just buy health.
Mhm.
So if you build Jack Show, if you're a tank, just go Anathema second. If you're not a tank and you can do damage, go Hydra second. And then if you still build Hydra, just go Anathema's third. And
Yeah,
put
you
it on
get
whoever's killing you.
stacking armor and magic resist. So it's just bonus flat armor and magic resist per
Okay.
second in combat up to 6 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember people saying that Jack Show was pretty bad on release, so they hotfix buffed it. But now it seems like it's kind of better, or maybe the Heartsteel hype has fallen off.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
Problem with
I've been
Heartsteel
playing a
is you
lot of
just build Blade of
Irelia.
the Ruined King. You win.
Yeah. Against all the Heartsteel players, I was going Bork into Jack Show and just not dying. Feels pretty good.
Because like the problem, right, is so say your top lane, you build Heartsteel, but the guy you're playing against builds Blade of the Ruined King. You don't win any 1v1. No matter how far ahead you were, you no longer win that fight. You don't do the damage, and they just cut through you.
But okay, if you're playing someone who could build Heartsteel and they're playing someone who could build, and then they build Bork, if they're playing a Bork champion, don't you already lose that regardless of what other item you build after one item?
If you would have went Jack Show, I think you still win the fight.
I mean, obviously this is like hypothetical without a situation, so it depends how far ahead you are and champions and stuff. But I mean, maybe.
Like 800 health is nothing when you're cutting that health. When you have no resistances, Blade of the Ruined King almost does true damage just by itself.
True, it is an earlier game. It is an earlier game item in power level. That makes sense. But yeah. What other hot takes did we write down? Yeah, that was about it for the things that we wrote down. John, Fenrir, did you guys want to talk about anything else for how preseason's been?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Radiant Virtue is going to get changed into a support item.
Really?
They're going to
What?
drop the cost and change some of the stats to where they're not so good. I don't. You just don't build this on a tank. Like it's 3,000 health. Yeah, you're getting some armor, magic resistant, ability haste, but like all that stuff is more stuff you want on a support instead of a top laner. And you're not like getting combat stats when you use your ultimate. Like I could see this being a very good recon item if it was like 26 or 2,500 gold.
Yeah. What about building this on? You could go the support Swain mid with Radiant Virtue and like Redemption second or Staff of Flowing Water or something. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, you
Or
just don't do any damage. So.
but you don't need to. Like I've played supporter
Yeah,
Swain
that's
mid.
true.
You don't
Yeah.
need to. You could
Yeah,
even
but when you play support Swain, you go Moonstone, and so you're getting that healing. You're not getting that healing from Radiant Virtue.
Yeah, true. So I guess it really depends on but Radiant Virtue, you don't. Oh God, which one do you want then on like? And I'm talking like Swain mid, and you play it supportively.
Moonstone, 100%.
Yeah,
Because this item's 3,000 gold. Moonstone is only 2,500.
yeah, that makes sense.
Like I'm telling you, if this item is 2,500, it gives 250 health, 15 armor, and 15 magic resist, and 20 ability haste. This is like a guaranteed support item on like 90% of engaged supports.
Yeah,
And I really hope they do that because this item's really fun, and I think it should be built more. It's just not good at its current price point.
okay. What do we think that? I mean, with all these other changes, I really wish they would have done something with Stridebreaker because it just kind of sits there and no one builds it, other than what Bruiser, Nocturne out of the jungle, and Garen. That's about it for Stridebreak. I've seen it on set before as well. Uh, don't know if that's the item to go on set, but I've seen it there. Like, I mean, I guess I'm like adding another topic then. What would we do with Stridebreaker? But what would we
Give
do
it
with
its dash
Stridebreaker?
back.
Give it its dash and then just lower the other stats? Okay.
I think you just give it its dash and then see what happens.
Yeah. Give it, yeah, or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I mean that would be.
I don't know what it still
something.
slows right now, so give it the dash and reduce the slow.
They could also do something where like after dashing, you're silenced for 1 second or like half a second, so that you can't. Because the problem was then like people would dash and then immediately do some CC or something. Then if that's not possible,
Yeah.
then that makes that item a lot less. That makes that dash a lot less powerful.
So what about the slow then? I think that it can't have both a dash and a slow.
I think it's okay
Yeah,
to have the
have one or
dash. If
the
it's
other.
like a minimal slow that doesn't decay, it just drops off like in, I don't know, a second.
I think they should just increase the slow on it because it was so broken on Nocturne whenever you had the dash. That felt so bad, man, because you just push Stridebreaker, dash through them, push E. It's like guaranteed E getting off. And it's like, it's not very difficult to do. That was like one Stridebreaker interaction. Then Garen with Stridebreaker, like, Garen having a dash feels. I mean, it feels so bad to play against that.
What if they kept the slow and just increased the range?
Don't think so.
No.
I think
Like,
it needs a dash of some sort, or they do like a what if they did like a quarter second route right around everyone. I mean, that would maybe be good because then it would give you more guaranteed CC, but I could also see how being able to AoE route everyone right around you might be a problem. But if it's like
Maybe
a
like
quarter second, so go ahead.
what about like a delayed slow? And if you don't hit anybody, the actual cooldown is a lot longer. So they can make it so
I
it's
like
not
that.
as like utility based where uh I think that's what they're moving towards for a lot of dashes. If you don't dash for a specific purpose of fighting and use it for an escape, it takes longer to get back. And you can dash into them and you can do whatever abilities in it maybe you do need the slow on time, but maybe not proccing a certain thing just makes the cooldown longer, or similar to like Cassante, where if you ult, you lose like tank stats. So maybe you lose like some armor or damage when you first dash in, and in order to get it back, you have to hit someone with the slow or something like that.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I like anything where it's like if you miss that on them, that it's more punishing. Just more like skillful expression of it.
Maybe something where they turn it into like a Blitzcrank W, where you once you dash, you're self-slowed by a little bit. But anyways, that's our thoughts on what we should do with Stride Breaker. That was a really poor attempt at a jingle, but anyways, okay. So I posed the new. We kind of talked about through anything that I felt was worth covering in the old question of the week, but I have put out the new question of the week, which is, what's your favorite new change of the preseason? So we kind of only went over some of like our complaints and some of the things that we liked, but there's definitely things that people like out there, especially depending on who you main, what roles you play. But tell us what you really liked, and we'll discuss it in the next couple of weeks or so, because we got a cool patch coming up, and then there'll be an off week, and then the holidays come up. So yeah, we'll add some of those in, and then in the next couple of weeks, we'll also do our holiday wish list for the upcoming year and see if that comes through. But um, other than that, that has been episode 789 of the Trinity Force podcast. Please send us any feedback or questions you have at questions@trinityforcepodcast.com. You can also leave those in the feedback channel of the Discord. If you want to join our Discord or anything like that, you can find that on our website, which is trinityforcepodcast.com. Please join us on Tuesday evenings for Community Night, which starts at 7:15 Eastern. I think it's daylight time now, because I don't know it's standard or daylight, whatever, but Eastern time. Those usually run for a few hours, and they're a lot of fun. So please come and join us. And then yeah, I was gonna plug the tournament this weekend, but we had to cancel it. But I will be doing a most of the day stream. I was gonna start earlier, but the USA game is on for the World Cup, so I thought we're not gonna get that many viewers. Plus, I want to go see it in a bar, so I'm gonna go be doing that. But yeah, so come check out the stream that'll be up on Saturday. Fenrir said he'll join, and anyone can come and play. We'll play a whole plethora of games. I'll start streaming around 1 or 12 Eastern and beyond for most of the day. I'll be pretty tired, but I'll be there with you guys. That'll be great. But check out our Patreon. We have a whole slew of different tiers and benefits. You can get some coaching. You can get a whole bunch of stuff, early access tournaments and events, things like that. But that is it. Thanks everyone for listening or watching, and have a good rest of your day.
Bye.